All right, so let's go. The first place I tell everybody, I'm going to share my screen. That will help. Let's see, where are we? Come on. Do you see ParentSquare up on the screen? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So the first thing I recommend everyone do is look at the icon, the little question mark icon up in the right-hand corner. I'm moving my thing. I hope you all see it there. That
Mhm.
question mark icon leads you to so many things. I'm going to click on it. It has help articles, training, what's new, email us, chat with us, etc. The help articles and training are so helpful. So, help articles, for example, I could go in and say, okay, it goes to parents and guardians, teachers, administrators. So, say you're an administrator and you just, well, here are steps to launch a ParentSquare. But say I just want to know how to post, how to make a post, or find a post, or send a post, or how to create a post. Here we go. I click here and it takes me step by step on how to do it. So this is the first place I tell everybody to go is that question mark icon because it has so much helpful resources. So if you do get stuck even after this, that will really help you find things. So that's the number one thing. Let's talk about your dashboard. So EIC, yours will be a little different because you're inside the school sites. But one thing for all of our schools to know is when you click on the admin button up here at the top left, now you're seeing everyone for my school district, so the numbers would be a lot smaller, but you will have the number of students within your school, the number of staff and teachers, and the number of parents that you can contact. Your parents are usually bigger than the students because there's usually more than one parent that you can communicate with. Here you'll see you have contactable numbers. So that's the people that you're really in contact with and everything's great. We have a 98% contact rate, which is really good. Non-contacts is 164. That non-contact list is probably because their emails are bouncing back because it thinks it's spam, or they've given you a landline number and we can't leave a voicemail, or they give you a landline number for text messages. That's not going to work. So those are kind of where those non-contactables come in. No contact information. I have 110, but remember that's the district. Usually that's one or two people. Lizette and Kathleen, I would definitely make sure that you follow up with Atlas and Pacific to see if any of your families are on that list, because what I would do is try and track those folks down and make sure that their contact information is in Aries, because they are not receiving any information from you. You have a lockdown, you have a message you have to go out, they're not going to get it because there's no contact information. So that's the first piece of information. Beyond that, you get things like for our district text message, 80, let me see here, 95% or 98% of people have phones, and 95% of them have chosen to receive text messages from us. So this just kind of gives me an idea of how people are using ParentSquare. And then you can go on to get even more information too. So it's just nice to know. If you or your families are having problems getting notifications, let me know. If you can go in and create either it to be an instant notification, so the minute you send an email, it goes to them instantly, or they can get a digest at the end of the day. A lot of our families who have students in like 3 or 4 different school sites prefer the digest because then they get all their emails at the end of the day. It's up to them. And you can go to that little question mark and find out more about that. If I were to go into it right now, unfortunately, what I call my sandbox, my software area that allows me to play without showing you any confidential information is not working. So if I went there right now, I would show you a bunch of confidential information. So if you need information on how to change notifications for staff or for families, just let me know and I can help you with that very quickly. I can send you the link or even fix it myself. So again, remember there are some issues with Aries right now. If your parents are saying they aren't receiving information from ParentSquare, please put in a tech ticket and give us as much specific information as you can. The name of the person, the name of the student, the school, maybe the phone number and email it should be going to, because that will help us when you put in a tech ticket, try and research on our end what the problem might be. So the more information you give us, other than parents are saying they're not getting a message, I need to know which parents, maybe what message they were trying to see. Because the other thing you can see from this, and I can't show you because of confidentiality, is if you go into a post, you can see who's opened it and who hasn't. etc. Which my nieces and nephews who are parents in the district really love when I can say, well, you haven't opened a message from me in 3 months. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the differences between posts and alerts. So the first thing here on the left-hand side, you're on your home page and you see something called posts. A post is for everyday things. This is where your newsletter goes. So I just clicked on post. I'm going to go here to new post right here where the blue is, it's turning orange. This is how you create a newsletter. This is how you just send out a general piece of information. This email will go out to parents and staff, and it will go out to people at their time they have indicated, so that instant or digest. I'm going to go back and show you how to use this in a minute, but that's just for your general everyday things. That's your post. Then you have your alerts. So over here on the left, you have communicate, post, messages, and alerts. So I'm going to go to alerts and notices. And on the right here, where it goes blue to orange, you'll see manage alerts. And you've got new smart alert or just a little like bullhorn, right? On the right-hand side, you've got new smart alert or bullhorn. New smart alerts, though, well, actually, let me talk about the urgent first. That's the bullhorn. A bullhorn is your urgent alert. It's for a critical threat, a lockdown. You need to get this delivered to your parents very quickly. It's the most important type of communication you would send. There are limited options on how much you can type in. So it's literally for, we are in a lockdown, we'll send you a message in 15 minutes, blah, blah, blah. It will send to the entire school, all the parents and the staff. It will send instantly, no matter how they have things set up, whether it's instant or digest. And it defaults to text, voice, and an email. So all three. If you do a smart alert, again, maybe you're getting a lot of phone calls because people aren't sure if today was a weird half day or the water was turned off and the kids can, this is one that we had to use this week. The water's been turned off and kids can stay, but we're not able to flush toilets, but they can technically still use them. We might use a smart alert for that. So if they want to come pick up their kids, they can. You have a lot more flexibility in the smart alert as to how much you say. I don't think you can add a PDF or any kind of attachment. That's only in a post. And you can choose whether you want to send a text, a voicemail, and or an email. So you have a little more flexibility in that smart alert. So I'm going to go back to posts real quick. So back to your home page and posts on the left right here under communicate. And we're going to go into a new post. So you can do everything in here, like I said, including newsletters. So if you want to do a newsletter for the EIC, there are some different ways you can do that. So first way you can do that is you see this little plus button here. You can click that. And if you click the second one that says use template, the little icon here, there are a couple of different types of newsletters you can choose from. So I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. Control plus. Let's see. So right here, let me get out of this for a second. So I clicked on this little more rich button. I clicked on use template, and then they have a 5-minute Friday, a newsletter with no sidebar, a newsletter with a right sidebar, or a newsletter bordered. These two are ones that I developed a long time ago. So you probably won't have access to these. So say you just choose the newsletter bordered, and all of a sudden it says, this is a sample newsletter template. Learn how to use this, which would help you if you decided to use this. We're not going to go into that now. And voila, it helps you develop a really nice looking newsletter. So when you go in and it says things like 200 by 50, if you've got Canva, you can go in and make a little masthead that's 200 by 50 pixels. And that's 200 wide by 50 pixels tall. And then you can just do this. You can click on it. You're going to replace it, this little button here. You're going to drop your image that you've already saved from Canva or however else you're doing it. Maybe it's your school logo. What are we going to do? Let's just go in and grab our Ventura Unified logo. It's here somewhere. We'll use this. Okay, and it gets dropped in. The nice thing is you can also make it a little bigger by pulling out these little corners. So I'd make it a little bigger. Then it's just like Word. You go in and it says parent newsletter month. So I want this. I'm going to copy or highlight it. I'm going to put in family newsletter. 2021, please don't take me back to COVID. So we're going to put August 2025. You can put in your important dates, maybe here, a principal's message, some text you have, and then you can put another image in that's 1200 by 600. So I'm going to go in and I've got some sort of stock photo that I have. I'm going to drop that image in. Let's choose something from social media. A Portola fencing. Let's just use that. And now you've got that picture right in there. You just put all of your text right here. We're just going to replace it with the blah, blah, blahs. And let's do the same thing here. We'll do some blah, blah, blahs. Actually, I'm going to type something in here so I can show you. I am typing in text that I hope you will read. Right? We always hopefully read things. You can keep putting things in. If for some reason this is just too much, right? You don't need these 3 areas here. You can click over it and see how this showed up down here. You can remove it and it gets deleted. Now, to undo it, you can use this little button up here, this little arrow up here to undo, and it brings it back. Okay. Once you have all your text in here, like I said, you can do things like bold and italicize. It's just like Word. Pretty easy. If you want to put in a, say you're telling them that you want them to go to a website. Let me grab a website address. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Let me grab a website. So you're going to take your website, you're going to copy it. You're going to go into your post. This says, go to the VUSD website. And I want VUSD website to be the link. So I highlight it. I select the little insert link. It's the paper clips up here. Click on it, add the URL. And I recommend always pushing open a new tab because that means they can get back to your newsletter really easily. If you don't, then they get lost somewhere out there in the world. So I always click open a new tab, insert. Now it's there, and I make it bold and I underline it whenever I put in website addresses. It just makes it easier for people to find it. And that's kind of like the standard across most websites. So if I click on this, it'll take me to this little guy here and I can edit the link. I can make sure I've clicked an open tab. I can update if I had to edit that link. And this allows me to test it to make sure it's going to the right link. So we're going to click on that and it takes me right to the home page for the district. So I know that I've done the right one. So once you have everything in here the way that you want it, you need to come down here and go to edit translation. Every ParentSquare message that goes out is translated into, I don't even know, it's something like 300 different languages. So you cannot edit all those languages, but you can edit your Spanish. Because we know sometimes Spanish doesn't, they give you the full grammar. It's not really understandable by the folks that are in your population. So if you have Spanish translators that are available to you, which we do here, then I do edit translation. This takes me to the Spanish. And then I can go in. It automatically translates everything for me. So this is where I put in the actual words. See, visit the website, Ventura Unified website, and it pulled up that website address for me, even though it translated it. And I can go in and I can change some of these words because they're not exactly how I'd want it. You can literally just go in. So say I've got, I forgot to bring something up. Let's see. Let me just bring up a blank one and pretend that you've got some language in a Word doc. It's not going to be in Spanish, sorry. Hello, this language is Spanish. You're going to copy it in your Word doc and you take it over here and you highlight and paste it in. It's going to ask you, the pasted content is coming from a Microsoft Word document. Do you want to keep the format or clean it up? And I want to clean it because sometimes little weird things get into your Word doc, whether it's spaces and other things. So it'll clean it up and make sure it looks good in your draft here. We'll go clean. And now it says, hello, this language is in Spanish. Okay, so you can take that and put it in there. You can also do that for your English side if you want to copy and paste anything you've already done. So now you've translated everything. You've got everything good. I'll go back to the English side. I forgot a subject line. So VUSD Connections newsletter. And then you get to choose who you're sending to. If you're at a school site, usually you'll be able to send to the entire school. So you pick your school, or you could even pick by grade level. So if you only need to send to your sixth graders, you can do that too. Sometimes we can also send to teachers. We'll have to check that out. But EIC, you will have something in here that says 2025 EIC Atlas. You would select that as your group, and then you would be able to send it to that particular group. And here is where we have staff and parents. We are considering launching ParentSquare maybe next year. We have enough on our hands with Aries right now. So eventually we could send messages out to our, say, our high school students, but we don't have that right now. So it's just staff and parents. I always do both staff and parents. Anything I'm sending to parents, I want staff to know as well. And they really appreciate that. I also try and send it in advance to the staff through Outlook so that they're aware it's going to be going out that day. Okay. On the right-hand side here, you see send at participants' preferred time. Try and leave that there if it's just a general message that you're sending out, because that's how parents want to receive it. So we want to try as much as we can to honor that. However, if this was something that has to go now, it's got information about a parent workshop that you're about to start in 5 minutes, then you can press send instantly and it will go instantly. And then if you really don't want to notify, no idea why anyone would want to do this, but then you can click do not notify. I've never used that. It tells you how many staff and parents you're about to send to. So for me, because it's a district, quite a few. And then here where it says post now, hold on, I'm gonna get rid of this so I don't accidentally send it. You can schedule it, which is my favorite thing. So let me talk about when we send out communications really quick. Here, we try to make sure we do not send communications during the school day unless it's for a lockdown or other emergency. Parents have consistently told us that if we send during the school day, it freaks them out. So we really try not to. So we will schedule for later in the day. For Ventura Unified at 6 p.m., our attendance messages go out to try and avoid 6. And at 5 o'clock is when I would send any district communications to go out. So you can schedule right here. You've written everything. You can schedule days later, which is what I sometimes do with our district newsletter if I actually get a day off, maybe. So please confirm you wish to publish the post at a scheduled time at the user preferred time, and I would press schedule. Oh, wait, hang on. Why didn't it? Hang on, let's not send this. Go to schedule. Oh, I forgot to select the date and time. That's why. So you could select today and you can put in the date or time that you want it to go out. And then you just press schedule and it's good to go. So let's make sure I didn't do that. We're going to exit out of this and I'm going to show you how to build your own newsletter if you want. Get out of this. Let me get out of this. Can I? It's been saved as a draft. Okay, hold on. Let's just go back in. So if you have something saved that you don't want to save, like this, you see here where it says scheduled and draft posts on the left-hand side. You click on that and see I have this VOSD Connections newsletter I just built. I do not want to save that. I don't want to accidentally do it. So I can go over here on the right-hand side where it says edit. I can either edit that post or I can delete it. I'm deleting it. So I want to delete that. Yes, I'm positive I want to delete it. Okay. If you want to build your own newsletter or your own other email, like I said before, it's easy. So for me, I built out our own newsletter. Let me show you what it looks like for those that haven't seen it yet. It's communications. Well, it's there too, I think. So this is what our newsletter looks like this year. So you can see I have a masthead and I have headers for each of the sections that one particular has. Here today, ready for tomorrow. That's our attendance. Hoping you stay connected. It's pretty easy to build this yourself. So I didn't use a template. I went ahead and just added things. So the first thing I did was insert an image, and that's my masthead. So again, you just click the icon for the photo. You click on drop an image, and I have them saved in here in a special place. So there's our masthead. I always make it a little bigger Otherwise, it's going to show up way too small on a computer, but it's nice for whenever you send these out, it will shrink and make bigger depending on what kind of device they're looking at. So if they're looking at it on a phone, it is, forgetting the word off the top of my head, but it's responsive. So it does know what kind of device it's looking at. So I put the VUSD Connections newsletter head in here, and then I want to click that little more rich button. And now, let me bring this up a little. So I clicked this button. Now I can add some design blocks. So I can add text right under that and just say, hello, first newsletter of the year, blah, 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 okay? And then I have that text, and then I want to go ahead and put in the superintendent's header with his picture. It's a message from the soup. So I go ahead and put another image in, and I can drop another header in. So we'll pick, where is it? There he is. We'll make that a little bigger and line it up with the other. This time I'm going to go ahead and add in, here you can also add in text in 2 columns. You can add in a text that's boxed in. You can add a 3-column image, or an image of 3 columns. You could do image plus text. So I used to use this a lot, image plus text with the image on the left. So I click that and up it pops. And I can just put in the information here. And I can put another picture in here the same way. You click on it, the replace button, and you pick it from whatever you've got going on. Let's do out of social media. Okay, and you've got that. Now say I want to put another piece of text in, but I really want something to divide it because otherwise it looks like it's just one long little article. Here's a divider. Easy peasy. And then you can put in more text or another image plus text on the right. So you can really play with it. The nice thing after you get this done, one thing, if you're using these headers, make sure you also make them in Spanish because you're going to want to replace them. They don't automatically get translated into Spanish. You do have to replace them if they're images. So make sure you do those in Spanish as well. The nice thing about any of the posts that you do, once you have this down, you can copy it and then do a new one. So I'm going to get rid of this for a second here. And so I have my post already done from the last time. Oops, from the last one. This was our last message. I'm going to go into read more. And now I can go and duplicate it. This way I don't have to rebuild it again. Now I just duplicate it. The next time I want to do a newsletter, and all I do is go in and switch out the language. So all my headers and everything are already there. Okay. The other thing that you can do while you're in here, a lot of times we have to send attachments, whether that's a flyer or a form or a this or a that. You can do so by clicking attach photos or files. So over here on the left, while you're inside your post, on the left, you can click attach photos or files. And then you just select whatever file you have. So for me, I save those in one area. So it's in my communications, and I always save it with the date so I know which newsletter it's going into. And so I'll say, okay, how VUSD communicates in a crisis. I want to make sure they get this flyer. And I literally click it. I click upload. And now it's down here at the bottom. How VUSD communicates in a crisis, which I already had apparently. So that's how you upload files into your newsletter, and then it shows up really nicely. So let me show you how preview works. If you ever want to preview, you go over here on the right next to post now. You can click preview. Maybe. You can also send you a test so that you get the test through text message and through email. And you can see that everything's working properly. So you can do that too. All right, let's go to urgent alerts. So you go back to your home, or I guess I should say, any questions about posts before I move forward?
Marianne, does the does the file have to be like JPEG or how does it need to be saved?
It's best if it's PDF, but it'll take a JPEG as well. When you're putting the images into the newsletter, though, you want to make sure that's a JPEG. If you're doing those mastheads or putting the image with the text, make sure those are JPEGs. Good question. All right, we're going to go to alerts and notices. So you hit alerts and notices. Over here on the right is manage alerts. So we've got a situation. It's fairly urgent. We need to get the message out, but it's not urgent that I have to use the bullhorn yet. So we're going to go to Smart Alert. I can give this a title. This is literally for internal. So I'm going to put test message. You're always going to almost always use district schools classes unless you have something special set up, but most of the district does not. So I'm going to click VUSD office staff just in case I accidentally press this. Staff, parents, like I said, we don't have ParentSquare right now, so I can't send it to students. If we have emergency contacts in here, we could send it to them as well. We don't currently. And then guests are usually our coaches because sometimes they do not have VUSD email addresses. So going into here, we've got edit translations, which we don't want to do yet. So it's asking for a short message, which shows up as your text and app notification. So here I'll say, this is a test, but this is where you'd say, you know, water is out at the school. We're still fine. Students can stay. If you'd like to pick them up, school ends at 3, feel free, right? So this is a test of our smart alert system. Then you might want to send a longer message. So remember, this first one's a short message. It's just going to the text. And what I usually do here that I forgot is, please check email and voicemail for further information if you have given more information. If it's just a quick notice, you may not have more information. Then in my email, test of system, I'm going to put, you know, test of the system, put all pertinent information about pickup, etc. here, okay? And it'll tell you if you spelled things wrong. So we'll fix that. Then if you want to do an audio message, a lot of our schools like audio messages, especially those that have a large Spanish-speaking population. So you can do an audio message, and you can do this in a couple of different ways. So for me, I usually record the message. Lizette and Kathleen, if you've been around long enough, you've gotten some of those. Hi, this is Marie Ann Quiros, calling on behalf of somebody about something. So you go to record message, and you can record from your phone, your computer, or upload a recording. I like to record from my phone. It has the best sound quality. So you click record from your phone, and what happens is there's a little box here where you could put your text for your voicemail in. I don't know if you can see this, but on the corner here on the bottom right of that box, you can kind of open it up a little bit if you have more information than you need. You put the phone number that you want the system to call you at so that you can leave the message. So I would put my phone number in here and press call me, and it would call me, and I would record my message. If I didn't like it, let me show you how that works. It's going to call me. It picks up. It's telling me it's from Oakview. I'm going to pick it up.
Oh, record your message after the beep. Hang up when finished.
I'm not going to like this message, so we're going to delete it when it's done. Thank you. Goodbye. And then you hang up. Takes a minute on this end. You see it's still kind of going, waiting, and then your message pops up right here. You can listen to it. So you can listen to your message there, and you can download it if for some reason you like to hold on to your messages, or if you need to slow down the playback speed. I don't know why you would. I haven't had to do that. Or you can delete it right here with this little trash can and start over. If you're like me and sometimes don't get it on that first ring or that first try, you can just delete it and then start over again. If for some reason you've lost your voice, but mostly for Spanish, you can take all of this text here, put it under audio message, and do text to speech. That's like those old-fashioned robocalls that sound very robo-ish, and we'll send out the message for you. And then you can preview that message. It calls you to preview it so that you can hear it. And then you have to translate it into Spanish. Oops. Why is it not? Oh, edit translations up here. So it has all of your translations in there already. And so what I normally do, if I don't have someone that can do the Spanish translation or the Spanish audio message for me, I'll copy this here. I'll put it into the text and then do text to speech. So if I don't have someone that can do the Spanish call, I just copy the email, put it into the audio message text, and I'll do text to message or text to speech. And that's how we do a lot of the Spanish emergency messages, because I don't have a Spanish speaker available, and you don't want me reading your Spanish messages for you. Once you're done with that, you've got your text message, you have your email and your audio all set up, you click next. And here's an important part that sometimes we forget. So this is going to tell you how many messages are going out, how many phone users, how many email users. You can view your messages. But right here, it says this message will be sent as a smart alert. Check here to send both text and voice. Whenever it's this important, I click there and I send it as text and voice. If I've put it in there, send it as both. If the parents don't want it, they have text or voicemail turned off in their notification settings. So I like to send both. It's a little bit over the top, but at the end of the day, this is really urgent. So I need to get the message out one way or the other. And they don't always check their emails. So I usually do both. And then you can schedule it, or you can click notify and it'll go out right away. Any questions about Smart Alert?
So would this be something that like a principal would put out for back to school night, reminding parents that back to school night is
tonight? Yeah, absolutely. You could do that. I mean, obviously it's going to go in your newsletter and stuff ahead of time in a post, but if you're worried that people may not be showing or they just need that last minute reminder, then yeah, you could use that. Oops. I'm admitting someone that apparently wasn't admitted. There we go. All right. So for any other questions about the Smart Alert? Okay, I'm going to go back to home, make sure nothing's scheduled. Oh, I have the copy. I'm going to delete this real quick just so it doesn't go out accidentally. Okay, we're going to go back into alerts and notices, and we're going to go into maybe, come on. We're going to go into manage alerts again on the right, and we're going to use this little bullhorn. That's your urgent alert. You're in lockdown. You need to tell them very quickly and tell everybody quickly you're in lockdown. So this is a test urgent alert. Please stay away from the Bobcat at the ESC. Anyone who works here knows we get Bobcat sightings all the time. All right. Recipients. For me, it's going to be all of Ventura Unified, but you can click this for you all. You'll either get your school or you'll get like grade level if for some reason it's only grade level. And that could be because there was something that happened on a field trip or something like that. Hi, Claudia. So you would use this to do that. Who should receive this? Staff, guests, parents, or emergency contacts, and include on social networks. I don't include any kind of alert on social media. I take care of social media separately. There's too many things to handle, so I don't put it out there. And then it says automatically translate to recipient's language. So it will do that. This means you are not going to be able to edit the Spanish area. So I'm going to be honest with you. I rarely ever use urgent alert because I want more flexibility. I want to be able to send that voicemail. I want to be able to send the text message. I want to be able to look at the Spanish really quick. But if God forbid it really was that urgent and I just need to say, stay away from the campus, students are in lockdown, I'll get back to you in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And urgent alert is the best way to do that. And then you can send your urgent alert right that way. So I'm not going to do that because I'm about to tell the entire district there's a Bobcat at the ESC. So I'm going to cancel. So any questions about that? You see the major difference there between Smart Alert and Major Alert. It's just you're literally sending one short message and they're going to get what they get. Okay. Smart Alert, Urgent Alert. I talked a little bit about when messages should be sent. So only emergency alerts during the day. Try and schedule your messages for after school hours. The other thing that we heard from parents on our last communication survey was to avoid weekends for your newsletters because they want to tune out. So the suggested 2 days that people were talking about were Mondays or Thursdays. So either prep me on Monday what's going to happen through the next Monday, or tell me on Thursday what's going to happen all next week, and maybe Friday. So that's what they recommended. That's what they want. Avoid sending emails on the day the district newsletter comes out, because then you're just competing against ourselves for their attention. So I have that newsletter editorial calendar that goes out, so you know exactly when we're sending. I can send that back out to anyone who needs it. The other thing that I've noticed a lot of because of the Aries switch is when you go into admin. Nope, wrong one. When you go to add-ons, a lot of the attendance clerks are not in their same locations anymore. So if you want to change your attendance clerks for any reason, and they're the ones that get all of the notices about who's out from ParentSquare, because it'll send a message to parents saying, so-and-so missed school today. And it allows me to go in and give the note right there. It says, oh, well, my daughter had the flu. Very sorry, hoping she'll be back tomorrow. Well, that note then goes to your attendance clerk. So you go to add-ons in your school, you click attendance, and oh, you're going to see things differently than me. Hang on a second. Let me go to a school. I don't have the same thing you all do. Hang on. Go down here to attendance. And then you'll see that we have it enabled. So it's enabled. You're getting your messages. The only code for our elementary schools we use is A. That's for absent. We also use the tardy and one other one for the high schools and the middle schools, because they kind of keep track of more things than we do, than the elementaries do. Notification time will always be 6 o'clock. Please don't change that. We try and make sure all of our attendance notifications go out at the same time across the district. So if 2 of your kids were absent, you're getting both of those at the same time, not an hour apart from one another, which is annoying. Attendance notes are enabled, and then this is the person who gets the reports for this particular school. So you can either get rid of them by just clicking the X, or you can add an email here. And then you also have your phone number in here, so parents can call there to excuse the absence if they need to. I'm pretty sure that appears on the text message they get. And then the delivery methods are how do parents find out that their child is absent. We always have email, text, and voice selected, because you never know in their system what they actually allow to come through. Sometimes they just allow text, sometimes just email. So I have all 3 of those. And then if you do make any changes, you need to click save. All right. One thing I forgot about in the posts, which is really cool. And EIC, I think I could see you guys using this a lot. Claudia, probably a lot of your teachers. So if you're in a post, you can do several things. You can, come on, give me a post sometime today. All right. On the left here, you've got calendar entry or RSVP. So you can put in a calendar item for your classroom or for your school. And you can do like back to school night. You can send a reminder, click to send a reminder email out to everybody 1 day before, or you can even request RSVPs. So that's a pretty cool thing that you can add. We already talked about attaching photos. Forms and permissions we haven't really used here, but we're going to be doing a demo in October to see if it's something that our Ed Services team wants to use, possibly, fingers crossed, to replace field trip forms. We'll see what happens. Right, Claudia? It would be lovely. Ask for items. So this is where a lot of teachers like to do things at the beginning of the year. When do you need the items by? I really need Post-its, man. I need some Post-its, or I need glue, whatever it is, tissue, right? That's going to be in like November. And you can add another item. You can add another day when you need them by, and you can put in the quantity that you need. So this is really great for our teachers at the beginning of the school year. You can also request volunteers. So the teachers can request volunteers. So you can add a date for the event. What do you want people to do? I want people to, I don't know, work on an art project with our kindergartners, right? Now, if you're doing this post and it's only the teacher's doing it, it's only going to her classroom. Those are the only people that are going to get the volunteer sign up. So it's not like the whole school would get it unless you, when you're doing a post, put that out there and you've got a carnival of some sort. You can put all of those tasks in there and have people sign up. You can put a time, you can put how many people you need. You can even add another day if it's a 2-day event, etc. So that's kind of really nice to do that. So let's see. I think I've gone over everything except groups. Groups is a big deal and it's a kind of a mammoth project. We're looking at how we can create those groups in Aries and then just have them appear within ParentSquare. So it could be Ventura High girls basketball team, although that's a really bad example because we're not going to keep track of who's on what sports team. Let's say TWI fifth graders. I'm hoping that would be a really good group that they can create in Aries that would always be dynamic. So anyone that goes in and out of that particular group would automatically be done by Aries when that gets updated. So instead of using the static groups we have now, I'm hoping the other. But if you need a static group built, just email me and we'll do that. So it's 4:16. We have a few minutes left before I have to jump off to go do a different thing tonight. So other questions you all might have. And Claudia, I did record it, so I will send it out to you because I know you probably got stuck doing what, 1 million different things this afternoon.
Thank you for the recording.
No problem. All right, Lizette, Kathleen, are you feeling a little more comfortable?
Yeah, I think I just need to get my hands on it.
Yeah. And anytime you have questions, just call me. If I'm not in the office, email is a really good way to get a hold of me because I might be jumping from one school site to another and I might be able to help you really quickly. And you're like, how do I do this? And I'll be able to show you how to do that or call you and walk you through it. So again, it's a pretty simple system.
Yeah, it was a good overview. I feel pretty good about it. Just remind me, you need a list of what students, do you need a list of who our teachers are down here too? Would that help or?
That might help,
Okay.
but what's really going to help is a list that's separated out. So one for Pacific, one for Atlas, unless you want them separated even further down, like if you have different classrooms or something. But if it's just Atlas and Pacific, I'll need 2 lists just with the student ID numbers saved as a CSV format. And then I upload it here to group. And then you tell me who should be the owner of those groups, who can communicate out to those students, and I'll add them in as owners.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep.
Okay. And then you can go about just communicating with that one group.
Okay.
In the same way I showed you here. And it might look a little different. And if it looks a little different, just call me and I'll tell you how to get to it. But that little question mark sign in the upper right-hand corner is going to be your best friend because it's my best friend.
Okay. Do we have to get different permissions added? Because I'm looking at mine now and I only have like the Atlas on there and then home at the very top. So I don't have like how you have admin and add-ons.
That's probably because you're not an admin for your site. So we
Okay.
can talk about that further, but because you're actually under Atlas and
So maybe
Pacific.
Kathleen has it and we
Yeah.
can work on it.
Or I think it's the principals actually for those sites, because if I gave you admin access, you could then email everyone at Atlas. So
Okay.
that's why I'm going to make you an owner of your group so that you can communicate directly just with your families.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Well, I appreciate you all. Thank you very much.